With this knowledge, if we can implement really, we can play with cyclical stocks.
A cyclical can give you multi-bagger returns in a very short period of time. If you had got the cycle right, you would have made 5x, 7x in a matter of 1 year to 18 months. If you want to compare the companies and say which companies should I look at. So right now, there's a lot of euphoria on steel stocks.
Which all managements you personally like? మనం సైకిల్ కరెక్ట్గా క్యాచ్ చేయగలిగినట్టయితే సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్లోని షార్ట్ టర్మ్లోనే మల్టీ బ్యాగర్ రిటర్న్స్ అంటే 8 times 9 times 10 times రిటర్న్స్ కూడా సంపాదించవచ్చు. కాకపోతే చాలామందికి సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్లోని యాక్చువల్ సైకిల్ని ఎలా ప్లే చేయడం అనేది రాదు. అందుకని చాలాసార్లు నేను రీటైల్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో మనం ఈ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్ని చాలా వరకు అవాయిడ్ చేయడం బెటర్ అని చెప్తుంటాను. ఎందుకంటే బేసికలీ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద రీటైల్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ ఆల్వేస్ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్లోని పీక్ ఆఫ్ ద సైకిల్ ఎంటర్ అవుతారు, బాటమ్ ఆఫ్ ద సైకిల్ ఎగ్జిట్ అవుతుంటారు. సో నా ఈ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్లో ఇంత షార్ట్ టర్మ్లో రిటర్న్ వచ్చే ఆపర్చునిటీ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి దీని రిలేటెడ్గా మనం ఎలా ట్రాక్ చేయొచ్చు, ఈ స్టాక్స్ని మనం ఎలా ఐడెంటిఫై చేయాలి, ఎప్పుడు ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేయాలి అండ్ ఎటువంటి పారామీటర్స్ని ట్రాక్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. అండ్ ఈ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్ అనగానే చాలా వరకు కమోడిటీ స్టాక్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, కమోడిటీస్ అనగానే గ్లోబల్ ఎకానమీ మీద డిపెండ్ అయి ఉంటుంది. సో దీని రిలేటెడ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మనం ఎక్కడ చదవాలి, ఎక్కడ దొరుకుతుంది, ఇలాంటి కంప్లీట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో దీన్ని మనం తెలుసుకున్నట్టయితే మనం సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్ అనగానే ఓన్లీ మెటల్ స్టాక్స్ మాత్రమే కాదు, మనకి వేరే సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, వాటితో ఎలా ప్లే చేయాలని ఐడియా అయితే వస్తుంది. ఈ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్లో మోస్ట్లీ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో దే ఆల్వేస్ మేక్ మనీ. సో ఇన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ మాత్రమే కాదు, మనం కూడా డబ్బులు సంపాదించాలంటే ఏమేమి నేర్చుకోవాలి ఈరోజు మీకు ఈ మాస్టర్ క్లాస్లో అయితే దొరుకున్నది. ఈ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్ ఎస్పెషల్లీ మనకి మెటల్ స్టాక్స్ ఏవైతేనే వీటిని చాలా సంవత్సరాలుగా ట్రాక్ చేసి సక్సెస్ఫుల్లీ సైకిల్స్ని క్యాచ్ చేసిన వాళ్ళు మన ఇండియాలో చూసినట్టయితే చాలా తక్కువ మంది ఉంటారు. అందులోని రాకేష్ అరోరా గారు కూడా ఒకళ్ళు. ఆయన్నే తీసుకొచ్చినట్టయితే మీకు ఈ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్తో మనం ఎలా ప్లే చేయొచ్చు, షార్ట్ టర్మ్స్లో మనం కూడా మల్టీ బ్యాగర్ రిటర్న్స్ ఎలా సంపాదించవచ్చు, ఈ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ దొరుకుతుందని చెప్పి ఆయన రిక్వెస్ట్ చేశాను. హీ డెలివర్డ్ ఫెంటాస్టిక్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్. ఈ వీడియోని చివరి వరకు చూడండి, మీకు సాలిడ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అయితే దొరుకుతుంది విచ్ ఐ కెన్ ప్రామిస్ యూ. సో మెటల్ స్టాక్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, లేకపోతే వేరే అదర్ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, వాటిల్లో ఎప్పుడు ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేయాలి, ఎప్పుడు ఎగ్జిట్ అవ్వాలి, ఇలాంటి క్లారిటీ అయితే మీకు రానున్నది. అండ్ వీడియో చూసినప్పుడు ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మీకు హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అయింది అనిపించినట్టయితే ఐఎమ్ షూర్ చాలామంది వీడియో ఫుల్గా చూసినట్టయితే దే లవ్ ఇట్. సో వీడియోని అప్పుడే లైక్ చేయడం అయితే మర్చిపోకండి. అండ్ అలాగే మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్ కూడా ఐడియల్లీ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్ రిలేటెడ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ చాలామందికి దొరకదు కాబట్టి ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్ కూడా హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అవుతుంది అనిపించినట్టయితే వాళ్ళకి తప్పకుండా షేర్ చేయండి. లెట్ మీ ఇన్వైట్ రాకేష్ అరోరా గారు నౌ. రాకేష్ గారు, ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ థ్యాంక్స్ a lot for accepting my invite in very very short notice. Earlier, actually, the cyclical as a stocks category, I used to completely ignore. In fact, I used to tell my investors also, ideally, the retail category of investors should avoid such type of stocks. But after interacting with you, I started developing interest in these stocks. I started playing. So now I feel this knowledge has to be shared with all the viewers. And even my viewers also, a lot of time they ask about many steel companies and all. They basically see the run up and they get attracted. Okay, they don't know how to play the theme, how to enter at the bottom of the cycle and how to exit at the peak of the cycle. This is what actually the missing thing. So I feel nobody is best. I know who can explain this part to the viewer. So I requested you. Thank you for accepting this invite in very very short notice.
So thank you, Sai. It's always pleasure to speak to you. And we have been doing research on cyclicals throughout our life, so that is very close to our heart. And there's a reason why people are attracted to cyclical, because a cyclical can give you multi-bagger returns in a very short period of time if you
Correct.
get the cycle right. I mean, obviously, if you get the cycle wrong, then there are repercussions. But if you get the cycle right, so it is important for investors to understand. There's also a lot of euphoria currently around the cyclicals, and more particularly about PSU stocks. So investors need to be aware that what they are getting into, what they are buying, because these are some of global commodities, and they are driven by global macro environment. So it is not that Modi ji is there and India is doing well, that these stocks will do well. It is
Yes.
also dependent on largely on China, which is
Yes.
kind of 50% of consumption of the world. So what is happening in China is also very important, and
True.
also little bit what's happening in US, Europe, global interest rates, etc. So a lot of factors actually come into play. But today we are going to demonstrate to our retail investors how they can simply look at few things and try and see if they can catch the cycle, up and down. So I'll just start with my first this thing. I want to share one or two charts. So I'll just share the screen.
Okay. Sir, before you share the screen, let me put the disclosure. This, we don't have any commercial interest. In fact, he don't have anything to sell. It's a knowledge sharing session. I requested him. He wanted to contribute to this society. He wants to share his wisdom. Entire his life, he was actually tracking cyclical stocks. He was actually researching on this piece. So anybody, if you think there is any commercial activity here, there is nothing here.
I might have some position here and there.
Okay. Yeah.
So please be aware of that. And
Okay.
ask me if you want on our Twitter handle. You can ask any question you have later on. Or,
Okay.
when Sai uploads it on YouTube, you can ask questions there also. We'll try to answer as much as possible. So this is, a chart for last 20 years. And this is for Jindal Steel and Power. If you had got the cycle right, you would have made 5x, 7x, 3x, 6x returns in a matter of 1 year to 18 months. So that is why, it is interesting. Cyclicals are interesting for investors. Also, they are a little bit of a hedge against inflation. So if inflation is running, which was the case till now, inflation was running very high, commodity prices tend to move up. And that actually is a very important, tool. So it's, if you look at good fund managers, they allocate like 5-7% to commodities in their portfolio. So in your portfolio also, you can have a little bit of exposure to cyclicals. The Nifty weightage of cyclicals is like 3.5-4%. So if you're tracking the markets also, you need like 4-5% exposure. So this is one of the reasons. So this is Jindal Steel and Power. I started covering this company in 2004 or so.
Oh.
And immediately after that, it was a 5-bagger, then it collapsed, and then it became 7-bagger. So I've been tracking this company very, very closely. Even if you look for, larger company like Tata Steel, it's a similar story, meaning they bought, Chorus in 2006 or so. Despite that, you can see there have been multiple cycles.
Yes.
And now when the European problems are coming to kind of an end, you see the big jump that the stock has seen. Cyclicals can be rewarding in terms of, investing. The only issue is that, there are too many things to monitor and it is very volatile. So, what can investors actually do to really, track it? Some of the factors which I want to show, what actually drove the, commodity cycle over the last few years has been, China. And if you look at this right-hand chart, this is the China's urbanization trend. So from India in 1990 had an urbanization of around same as China. We were around 19-20%. Now India has reached 35%. And look at China. China has reached some 60 odd percent, almost reaching to. So when there's urbanization trend happening in the country, you are moving people from rural India to metros, and you need to build all those roads, drainage, infrastructure. And China is 20% of global population, so you can imagine what kind of movement. The other countries have taken 200 years to do this, what China has done in 40 years. So you can get this amount of compression of scale which China has achieved.
Yes.
So this kind of big boom that we had in commodity is unlikely to come back. Meaning, while India is coming up on the map, but India is still like 5% of global consumption. China is 50%. Now, is China done? I don't think it is done as yet, because it will go to 75-80%, urbanization trend, where most of the other developed countries have reached eventually. But now the pace is slowing down. And what has happened is that China has built a lot of capacity. Like steel capacity, they have 1 billion ton. India has 110. So that gives you a comparison.
Yeah.
So wherever there's manufacturing involved, China has built huge capacities, but they don't have too much of mining capacity. So what is currently happening is that there's enough available in terms of manufacturing, but mining is less, because mining capacity was coming up in, say, Australia, Canada, Brazil, and a little bit in Africa. So there, the investment hasn't really kept the pace as what China was doing. So commodity prices, largely the mining commodities like iron ore, coking coal, they have been going up much more rather than the conversion margin, because China is able to convert and sell it at a much lower pace. So this tells you the complexity of tracking cyclicals and why people avoid it. But there's a simpler way in which we can do it, and I'll show you some of those charts. This is Nifty Metal price to book chart.
Hmm.
This is from 2007 onwards, and so you can see it starts with the big boom of pre-global financial crisis.
Hmm.
But after that, it is kind of range bound. It is very difficult to forecast where will be the commodity price and where will be the profits, etc., for the companies. And when you try to look at from a traditional point of view, like normally you look at for a company from a P ratio or EV/EBITDA ratio. For metal companies, normally you have to buy when it is looking expensive on P or EV/EBITDA, because it will look expensive when the earnings are not there.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
that is the bottom of the cycle.
True.
So now for retail investors to understand, what is the bottom of the cycle and where earnings, they can get confused. So the easiest way to look at is price to book.
Yes.
Because price to book gives you, where you are in terms of how much money the company has invested for building this business
Hmm.
and how much you are paying above that.
Hmm.
So as we can see here, the
Hmm.
range is between 0.6 to 2.1.
Hmm.
Cyclical companies trade between this range in terms of either trade at a 40% discount to how much companies have invested,
Okay.
or they will trade at 2x the value where what companies have invested in building this business.
Okay.
Now, so 2x happen when there's bull cycle,
Hmm.
0.6 happens when there's bear cycle. This is one metric which you really need to look at to understand where we are in terms of cycle. If it is low, it is cheap. If it is up, it is expensive. So a single chart actually helps you understand whether which part of the cycle you are.
Okay.
So at least you're not buying at the top.
Okay.
Now the real question comes in is, if this is the chart, and so where do I find this chart which is updated for
Hmm.
me to have a look?
Hmm.
So we have made it very easy for retail investors,
Hmm.
and it's a totally free website that we are building.
I know most of my viewers they use your site. We have done one session also. ఎవరైతే ఈ వీడియోని ఫస్ట్ టైం చూస్తున్నారండి ఆల్రెడీ ఈ సైట్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో కంప్లీట్లీ ఫ్రీ వెబ్సైట్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ కోసం అని హీ హాస్ బిల్డ్ ఇట్. సో ఈ సైట్ని మీరు ఎలా యూజ్ చేయాలన్నది ఆల్రెడీ ఒక వీడియో ఇప్పుడు మీకు thumbnail కనబడుతుంది కదా, ఆ వీడియోలో షేర్ చేసాం. అండ్ ఇక్కడ ఐ బటన్లో ఉంచుతాను, ఈ వీడియో ఎండ్ కార్డ్లో ఉంచుతాను. ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు లెర్న్ హౌ టు యూజ్ ఇట్, బికాస్ జనరలీ మనకి వేరే స్క్రీనింగ్ వెబ్సైట్స్ అన్ని కూడా మనకి సబ్స్క్రిప్షన్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఇక్కడ ఈ సైట్లో అసలు సబ్స్క్రిప్షన్ ఉండదు, కంప్లీట్లీ ఫ్రీగా మొత్తం డేటా ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి యూ కెన్ బెస్ట్ యూజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్.
So we have just revamped this whole website to make it much faster.
ఓకే.
Content is same, but we have actually made it a little bit faster, because the earlier website was slow, and we were getting a little bit of feedback that it is slow. Now suppose we take up any company and currently say let's take sales, because that is under kind of in flavor. Now, as soon as you put the name sale, this whole information actually comes on your screen. So, two things to watch for you is that you look at how valuations are trading. But as I told you that at the bottom of the cycle, EV/EBITDA could be higher than where it is on the average. P could be higher. Then you have to look at ROE and price to book. So, if ROE, return on equity, is basically what is the return as an investor you are getting on the stock. So if the fixed, income, if FD is giving you 7-8% return, and you are taking this much of risk in the market, so you need at least 11-12% return for one-time book price to book valuation. Because if you are paying what the business has invested one time, at least get 11-12% return. So currently we can see that it is trading at 1.3 time, but the ROAs is much lower. So that is the first,
red signal
need to watch. Okay, what is the ROE and what is the price to book I am paying? We have data from all the brokers. So when you look at this fundamental analysis, you can see there are 23 analysts who are covering this stock.
Okay.
And you can see that 13% have buy rating on it. And you can see what is the high target price and what is the low target price. So you can see that the highest target price on the street is 122 rupees. Stock is already trading 128. On average, the target price is 104. So now you got two clues. One is that the ROA is low and stock is trading at much higher price to book. And when these analysts are covering these stocks in very high detail, they are doing a lot of work. So as a retail investor, we can't match what analysis they are doing.
True.
So this is our best, this thing. Now this information is normally available only on Bloomberg, and it costs you 20 lakhs a year to get that subscription. So यहाँ पे you have got it very free. Okay.
Thank you.
But you can see that technical indicators are all showing buy, buy, buy. So there's momentum in the stock. So you need to focus on fundamental thing. Because technical and this is a little bit of noise and you can get caught. Only for short-term trading, technical is okay. But if you are investing, fundamental analysis is very important.
Yes.
Now, here you can see what is the consensus forecast in terms of revenue, EBITDA, PAT. Everything is coming here. So all the 23 analysts put together, whatever they are forecasting is already here. So you can see that in March FY22, this company did 30 rupees of EPS. But historically, they've not been able to do much, And the forecast for this year is 5.2 rupees, next year 9.4 and 10 rupees. So the people are expecting that earnings will improve. And the stock is at 128 rupees. Your P is 12.8 on FY26.
FY26 earnings. Yes.
After assuming the earnings will double.
Yes.
So it's not that cheap. One can look at peer comparison also here. So all the steel companies are here. And so I can see that SAIL is, trading at, this is actually trailing 12-month price to comparison. That was FY23. This is the latest one. So SAIL is trading at 0.9, JSW is trading at 2.6, Sharda is trading. So comparatively, SAIL is trading cheaper.
Okay. So can we put in the site, can we put that data? Because you are the owner of the site, you know that difference. Now, this is TTM data and that is...
I'll put here, it is TTM.
Next time.
So that people will come to know that this is TTM.
Yes.
And this is actually FY23 last reported numbers. Now, there are other things that one need to know. So this is how the consensus forecast is changing. So, FY24, this is the pink line, the peach line. So people started with 23.6 rupees EPS and have now come down to 6. So much of downgrade has happened.
Yeah.
And now it is kind of stabilizing here. So that is one thing, we need to know how the earning trend is coming. Expectations are going down as the year is unfolding. One can check whether, these kind of, whether people are upgrading the numbers or downgrading the numbers. Here you can see they are downgrading the numbers.
Yes.
And when you click on this broker view, now this is what we saw the summary at the top. Basically, brokers have been upgrading the target price because they were having a very low target price. But when you see the buy recommendation is going down, the blue one. So out of 23 analysts, only 3 have buy, 7 have neutral, and 13 have sell. While they increased the target price, we saw that earnings were going down. They increased the target price because stock is running; they have to do something.
Yes.
And they are downgrading to sell. So there's a lot of euphoria about sale. We got to know that,
it's
the
risky now.
is downwards. People are expecting some recovery in next 2 years, but whether that will happen or not happen, difficult to say. And already the target price is stretched, and people are saying, analysts are saying it is a sell. Now, if you say that no, I want to do it myself, so then you click on this valuation tab at the top. And here you see price to book for last, 7-8 years. You can see that it is touching the kind of, highs.
Yes.
So this is the right price to book. So this is from 2014. So last 10 years data we are looking at. So it bottoms out at 0.3 or something. But on average, it trades at 0.62. So recently it went up to as high as
almost one time.
0.93. Now it has come off because the stock fell from a little bit. The stock has fallen, and the earnings have also come in. So maybe so it is trading at one standard deviation above the average, top 10-15% of the peak, where it trade or has traded historically. If somebody wants to see the chart themselves, this is updated every minute, so you can come here and see on the valuation.
Super.
And this gives you a clear idea as to how to look at. Now,
Okay.
this is from an individual stock point of view.
Hmm.
You knew about sale and you said, okay, I want to look at sale. But
Hmm.
suppose if you want to compare the companies and say, which companies should I look at?
Hmm.
Is there any screener that I can run? So one of the things, one needs to do is create a watch list. And watch
Okay.
list, I'll tell you why it is extremely important.
Hmm.
So let me open the steel watch list that I have. This at a glance, it gives me, everything that I need to know about
Hmm.
all the steel companies that I'm tracking.
Hmm.
And so obviously it gives me the valuation P, price to book, EV, EBITDA, 52-week high, low, what are the returns, and what is the change since I have added. So I've
Okay.
been tracking for last 2 years. And I can also put in, who recommended the stock to me. So this is all self.
Okay.
I put this
Okay.
test. But if Sai
Okay.
recommends anything to me, I'll just go and click and say Sai. So that I can
Okay.
track what Sai is recommending to me and whether it's coming right or not.
Superb.
Okay, so at one glance you can look at it. Now the
Okay.
advantage of this watch list is that when I go to screener
Hmm.
and suppose I want to check, a technical screen.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me go and select my watch list again. Steel. So you
Hmm.
can make any number of watch lists. You can have any number of stocks in the watch list. There's no restriction, all free. So you
Okay.
don't really need to worry about, array, will I have to pay something or is there any restriction? There's no restrictions. They're full. So I've taken this monthly trend because
Hmm.
I want to show the longer term trend.
Hmm.
So longer term trend, I can see that some of the buzzing stocks, Coal India, NMDC, SAIL, Tata Steel, these are very showing a strong buy, and there's no sell idea here on a longer term trend.
Hmm.
Everything is a buy, so metal sector is doing extremely well.
Hmm.
You can see which are the strong buys and which are little bit less.
Hmm.
If you want to do slightly, shorter trend,
Hmm.
currently in weekly trend only Jindal Stainless is coming as a buy and Hindalco is coming as sell. You must
Hmm.
have noticed that their subsidiary Novalis came out with results
Hmm.
and there was a big news about their capex. Their capex
Yes.
context. They had guided for certain capex,
Hmm.
and this quarter they said it will be 65% higher,
Hmm.
and a delay of 1 year.
Hmm.
So they will hardly make any return on $4 billion of capex that they're doing. So
Yes.
this is technical, not very much recommended, but this
Hmm.
is for short-term trend. Fundamental is where you need to focus more on.
Hmm.
And here again, you go and put your watch list. First thing that you do is price target. So
Hmm.
basically, this is what are the brokers estimating in terms of upside to the stock. So you can see that the first is Godavari Power. People have 33% upside. Then Hindalco, there's 12% upside. And when you come to sale, there's a 19% downside on average. People are recommending.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the first check that you need to do. Okay, where there's upside, where analysts are bullish. Then what you can see is, what is the improvement in target price that analysts are doing.
Hmm.
Here you can see that Nalco they've increased the most in last 1 month. They've increased target price by 23%, NMDC by 20%. Hindalco
Oh.
they've cut target price.
Hmm.
So that gives you an idea where they are increasing target price, where they are reducing target price.
Hmm.
Then you look at how the earnings are changing. So
Hmm.
the best performing stock is Coal India. The
Cool.
earnings have increased by 19% in 3 months. Jindal Steel and Power 11%, NMDC 3.8%. But see, they are cutting earnings for Tata Steel, SAIL, left, right, and center.
Hmm.
Well, the stocks are bullish, but the earnings are being cut. So you can
Hmm.
see that there's a lot of euphoria here,
Hmm.
the stock price.
So this is forecast or it's already
This is
generated one?
forecast for
Okay.
FY24.
Okay.
Now, if you say, I don't want to see FY24, I
Okay.
want to see FY25.
Okay.
So then you go here and change the EPS thing to 25.
Okay.
And then the things will change according to the target price.
Okay. And available data.
Yeah. You can change the month also. I put it like
Okay.
1 month change. You can say 3 month
Okay.
change. I
Okay.
put EPS upgrade 3 month. You can say 6 month change.
Okay.
I've taken the base case scenario.
Hmm.
You can say, okay, I want the bull case.
Hmm.
In bull case, what happens?
Hmm.
So in bull case, the target price increases are slightly better.
Hmm.
Only the target price will change in bull case.
Okay.
So that way, this is a fundamental screen where
Hmm.
investors can come and, make their watch list,
Hmm.
and track which companies are seeing upgrades, which companies have higher target price. So that way, once you have done this, you can go and look at the companies, individually and try to figure out, what's happening. So I know it's a little bit complicated, but
Hmm.
we are trying to give it the most simplest way possible.
No, this is a lot of data. See, people who want to explore this data is not available. So people who are ready to do the research, they'll do that, sir, even if it is
Right.
complicated.
So now so this is you'll do once or twice,
Hmm.
but now you need to keep track of, what's happening in the metal sector. You're taken a position. So you go to industry and you hit, metals tab.
Hmm.
And here what you can see is you can track, what's happening in all the commodity prices and what
Hmm.
are the stories which are coming up.
Okay.
Now this itself is from Steel Mint,
Hmm.
and this is a 40,000 rupees subscription which we are given free to investors. So now I
Hmm.
can see there are two main raw materials, iron ore and
Hmm.
coking coal.
Hmm.
So iron ore fines prices I'm checking here, and
Hmm.
this was in August $109.
Hmm.
It's been going up 121,
Hmm.
119. So raw material prices have inched up. Then we come to say coking coal. This is the one we need to track the premium
Hmm.
hard coking coal.
Hmm.
This is from Australia pricing.
Hmm.
In August, it was $253. It's gone to 302, 354, and now stabilizing around 315.20. Okay. So these are the two main raw materials. Now let's go and see what is happening to the steel price in between. So one should look at this HRC price, ex
Hmm.
Mumbai. It was 56,333 rupees in August. It went up a little bit, but it's come down to 54,000. So we saw that raw metal prices have gone up,
Hmm.
both iron ore and coking coal, but steel prices have come off.
Calm down. Okay.
So the margins are going to be compressed.
Compressed. Yes.
So people just need to come and see, okay, how are the prices behaving?
Hmm.
And here they can, on the right hand side, they can come and see, what exactly is happening in the market. Because, say, this is a story about India steel export falling 20%. India is not able to export. Chinese material is preferred because it's cheaper.
Hmm.
So you see the story, you click on it, you can read that story. Are you able to see?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm able to see that, sir.
Yeah. So
Statement article.
yeah, so you can go and see, what's happening. China is giving cheaper offers and luring away buyers. So India is not able to export. So that's why
Okay.
prices are at even much lower prices.
Yes.
Now the catch here is that you can read only two articles in a day because it is free, and that is the agreement we have with Steel Mint.
Okay.
They want to charge 40,000 for every somebody who wants to read fully. But the
Okay.
good thing is, after reading this, you largely come to know what it is about,
Hmm.
and you choose the two articles you want to read.
Okay.
Okay, so don't click on it like every article.
Okay.
So there are some articles are very important, like steel mills, steel stocks have risen 28% during the Chinese New Year break.
Hmm.
So their inventory is going up. So we need to be aware that steel price is not going to move up in a
Hmm.
hurry. So here people can come and track what is happening in the sector and in terms
Okay.
of prices, in terms of what are the stories which are happening.
Hmm.
So every day there are like few stories, 5, 7 stories. So you can come here 1 minute, 2 minute you can spend. Now there are other avenues where you can, keep a track. So you need to look at management interviews. And we have made it very easy. You don't need to spend 8, 10 minutes every interview.
Hmm.
So these are the interviews. Now suppose let's take my watch list and let me see if it opens up. So I've got all the interviews from the steel companies in
Okay.
short. Okay, because I made this watch list.
Hmm.
Every company which is on my watch list is here.
It picks up from everywhere, sir.
It picks up from CNBC, Z, uh,
Okay.
DTV, and all those. The
Okay.
main ones,
Okay.
CT,
Okay.
main ones it picks up. It can miss few of them,
Hmm.
but most of them are here.
Okay.
So here you don't even need to read, listen to the whole thing. Obviously, you can listen to the whole thing.
Hmm. Yes.
You can read the summary. Now, suppose you don't want to read also,
Hmm.
then you can ask question.
Okay.
What is steel price outlook? So it can't get any easier than this.
That's awesome.
So we need to take a little bit with pinch of salt when
Hmm.
companies always bullish.
Hmm.
But we saw that the inventory in China is rising, and etc. is not going to go up in a hurry.
Yes.
And if you don't want to listen to it, you can read the whole transcript also.
Okay.
So that way, in 2-3 minutes I can go and see what is interesting to me. Otherwise there are like 15-20 interviews. You will have to spend 2 hours.
Yes.
But I just read like 5 lines and see if something is interesting, then I click on it and read a little bit further. So I
Okay.
spend like 10 minutes a day.
Hmm.
I'm abreast with all my, watch list interviews, etc. That is one. I know all of you guys are working and you are not full time doing analysis and all that. So this is where, you need to track companies' task, conference calls also. Every quarter they do and they give you a good. Suppose let's take, say, Tata Steel. So Tata Steel, as soon as the results are out, this transcript will be available in 2 to 3 hours, and summary will also be there. And you can see that steel prices were mixed across the region, so and so. The same story here. You can just go, you can read the transcript, but you need to create a login for this.
Okay.
Because that is the agreement we have with the service provider that required. So you can, go and read the whole thing. Or as usual, you can ask question.
Okay.
Outlook for Europe operations. So while this is opening, there's something interesting that we have. Obviously, you can go and look at PPT and all that here. So he's saying that Netherlands operation expected to be EBITDA positive next year, and more guidance will be given the next quarter. UK operation challenges, so nothing is going to happen in UK. Netherlands will improve. So without reading this for 10 minutes, you got the answer. But there's another interesting thing which you can look at. This is known as transcript analyzer. So here you can just go and see what are the red flags. So I go and see here. I can read what has been written. So we gave you the guidance separately for next year. There could be some improvements. You're not able to understand, then you click on it and you go to the transcript where it has been said. So now I can see that they're talking about Europe. And they had given some guidance which didn't really work out. So will improvement because of the work that they're doing, they're expecting some improvement happening. So this way you can check what are the red flags.
Okay.
And not here. You can go up to 2012. If you see what happened to the stock during that time and what was the problem, you can just go and you can click. So this is an additional tool that investors have to track the companies. Now you got an idea that companies, you just go and click on it. You can keep the track on news. You can keep track on what analysts are saying. If you want to do all your study yourself, then this is the page for you. You go to resources, you open your PowerPoint, you can open annual reports, all interviews are here. So if you're searching on one company, then you just come here and do all your stuff. All transcripts are here. So you don't have to go to multiple this thing. So this way, I think, investors can really keep a track. Now, nothing is working for you and you just want to get updated. Our blogs come here. So we keep on writing on these companies and sectors. So I wrote on this metal sector is stimulus enough. And so here I explained, that the narrative for metal stocks is getting positive. And why there is excitement, because interest rate cut cycle in US, softening US dollar, supply disruptions, and then the current government is likely to come back in 2024, and what some fund managers are saying. Then we have discussed, what is happening in China. China is probably stabilizing. There's no bull cycle there. Then demand supply balance, we discussed that inventories are rising. Then we said the steel margin recovery is on card because it has gone so low that it will recover. Talked about, why there will be recovery, which other companies are also talking about. And we said, what valuations are building in. So suppose you don't want to track anything, you can just, log in, create a login to our website. And whenever we write on this sector, it will come to you. So you just read this. So this is the easiest thing that you can do. Because if the cycle is turning, we are going to write on it.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you. So if you don't want to do anything, this is the thing that you.
Yes. At one page, I can get entire information. Yeah.
Yeah. And now if you don't want to do anything and just want to ask, so you can either ask Sai a question or you can come to our Twitter handle and you can ask questions there. So a lot of people can ask questions on the Twitter handle to us. And we make sure that we, reply to all of them. And so here you can just see, what results are coming. We give analysis of all the results, etc. And notifications. So let me see. Yeah, so people are asking me, so what is your thoughts on Vedanta? Is the default risk gone or something like that? So then I have replied to them. that the worst is probably behind, and aluminum price outlook is the key driver. And good to see that promoter selling is getting absorbed in the market. If you don't want to do anything, you can come and ask us. We'll try and answer. So largely, this kind of sums up
Okay.
that for a retail investor who's busy,
No, yes, because this is where they can play this cyclical theme. Because earlier, what I used to tell them is because cyclicals are something where if they catch up the cycle at wrong time, most of the times it happens in market. The retail catches up at the wrong time
at
and
the
they get
top
stuck.
only.
Yes,
Correct.
they get stuck. So that is reason I keep telling them, "No, don't play cyclicals unless you understand it." So now I feel I think with this knowledge, if we can implement really, yes, definitely we can play with
So
cyclical
while we have
stocks.
discussed, metals and steel right now,
Hmm.
but same is true for chemicals also, because
Yes.
chemical is also a global commodity. Same
Yes.
is true for cotton-based industries also, because cotton is also a global commodity. So
Yes.
right now there's a lot of euphoria on steel stocks,
Hmm.
but chemical stocks are actually under the radar,
Yes.
and chemical stocks are actually showing signs of
Bottoming out.
bottoming.
Yes.
And valuations
Clearly.
are also decent. So you can go
Yes.
and check some of those chemical stocks,
Hmm.
apply the same analysis, create your
Hmm.
watch list, and try and see, which are the chemical stocks which are trading at low price to book, and
Hmm.
then see, which commodity they are in and what is the outlook. Is
Hmm.
it likely to turn from here or not?
Hmm.
That way you can probably. So I think chemical stock is where I would suggest you
Okay.
can
So
do.
currently you're tracking in cyclical themes. Chemical is one which you're closely tracking right now.
Yeah, so meaning global metals and global
Hmm.
chemicals. These are
Hmm.
the two ones which also meaning textiles, etc. is all cyclical because you're
Hmm.
exporting to
Hmm.
US, and there also there's a lot of cyclical nature. So anything which is linked to global
Hmm.
is cyclical.
Yeah.
So the same learnings can be applied to all these sectors, and
Okay.
same approach you have to take.
Okay. Sir, in steel as a theme, which all managements you personally like? Because you've been tracking this sector for a very, very long time. So,
I mean, the only management which is talk of the town is Narendra Modi. But beyond that, I think, see, JSW, Tata Steel, these are extremely good management. Tata Steel did the mistake of buying European assets, but
hmm.
they've come out of it. It was Tata Steel who could come out of a $12 billion investment, which became zero. JSW came out they started when I started tracking them in 2004. They
Hmm.
were in NCLT,
Hmm.
almost bankrupt.
Hmm.
And from 2 million ton, they've come to some 35 million ton now. So like, very incredible performance. Their brother Jindal Steel and Power also
Hmm.
went through a little bit of rough patch, but now it's coming back in a big way.
Yes.
So all these are highly efficient management
Okay.
teams, and they're doing extremely well. So, but some of these stocks are expensive, and people are factoring in all this.
Hmm.
But one of these three is looking okay, but you need to find out which one.
Can I guess? Godavari.
No, one of these three of the names
Three.
that I
Okay.
said
Okay. Okay.
is looking
Okay.
better because there's
Better.
a lot of
Okay.
expansion which is coming in.
Okay.
So investors can go and find out, which
Okay.
company is expanding the most and is looking the best of the
Okay.
whole lot. So the
You
invest
also like Godavari, right? Godavari Power.
Godavari is our client company.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
stock is up more than 20x since we started, covering it 4 years back. It is going to double its iron ore production in next, 2 years.
Hmm.
And all of them, or 90% of the profits come from iron ore. They're going to double their iron ore production. You can assume what will happen to the earnings.
Hmm.
So, but now since we've been marketing for so long, everybody knows about it. So a little bit is already in the stock price.
Yes.
So one needs to check on that.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's a good company. It's a 700 crore plus cash balance sheet. And now they're going towards a 2 million ton steel plant, fully integrated. They will be one of the most, profitable steel company. And everything will be done on internal accruals. So they are not going to take any debt. So that way, things are looking good from a longer term perspective. There will be hiccups in between
Yes.
because iron ore prices are at a peak globally right now.
Hmm.
They're at around $130 as we saw.
Hmm.
The cost of production for the big miners is around $60-$70. Actually, the mining cost is only $20-$30. But if you put everything, capex, future growth,
Hmm.
60-70 is where it should, iron ore should trade. It is
Hmm.
at 130.
Hmm.
So it can fall, iron ore prices can fall. So that one needs to be
Okay. For
cognizant
sure.
of. Yeah.
Anything else you want to share, sir?
No, I think we have covered most of it. We will be happy to answer any questions on YouTube when you post it, or they can ask on Twitter, or they can write to us. So we'll be happy to help, maximum possible we can do.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you, because it was a wonderful session. Because this is one topic actually I keep getting questions. So I hope people who implement it, I know they can definitely make money out of this cyclical play. But yes, one need to do that entire work. Without that, it's very risky.
Closing comment would be, in the market, you have to reduce risk,
Hmm.
not target for the maximum return.
Hmm.
Because targeting for maximum return can wipe you out.
Yes.
So try to reduce your risk. It is okay to miss an opportunity, but it is not okay to make losses.
Correct.
So one needs to just keep in mind that if there's euphoria, don't go after it. Look for things which are not in the limelight, not people are not looking at it. And that is why we have made all these screens, etc., to tell you, you can go and see as to, where there's less euphoria, where analysts are bullish. And remember, see, we have data from some 50, 60 brokers and 1,500 analysts. And this is available free to you. So utilize that. Meaning you can't be covering all those companies.
Yes.
You can't have that much of knowledge and even time to do it. Even if you,
Yes.
so it is better to utilize what people are doing and gain from that. Reduce your risk. That's the only thing I would say.
So last time you said you will be adding portfolio feature as well in the site.
Yeah, it will be coming. We actually had
Okay.
to revamp the whole website. So
Okay.
watchlist feature is kind of similar to portfolio,
Hmm.
except that you don't see gains
Hmm.
plus minus on your exact quantity.
Hmm.
We'll be adding it very shortly. So we're adding a lot of features. Somebody who's a serious, researcher should come to our website and should be able to benefit. They'll get, a lot of features and everything is coming kind of free, except for some data that we have. We are going to provide. There we have agreement with the data provider. We need to charge something. Otherwise, everything will remain free.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot
Thank you.
for taking out your time. It was fantastic session.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Look forward to it.
సో దట్స్ ఇట్ ఫర్ దిస్ వీడియో గైస్. ఈ సిక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్ ఎలా ప్లే చేయాలని మీకు కంప్లీట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అయితే దొరికింది అనుకున్నాను. వీడియోని ఇప్పటివరకు లైక్ చేయండి, అయితే వీడియోని లైక్ చేసి మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్కి అయితే షేర్ చేయడం మర్చిపోకండి. నేను సాయి కృష్ణ పత్రి మరొక మంచి వీడియోతో మీ ముందుకు వస్తాను. టిల్ దెన్ బాయ్, టేక్ కేర్.